I realized I probably should have been writing it on the board every video so that I could remember which video was which, but we'll start with this one. So this video, we're going to work on multiplying. To multiply, we introduce the concept by using touch points. So I'll just jump into it and kind of explain it. So if you have 2 times 4, your touch points are going to be on this second number. You're going to skip count by the first number this many times. So what number am I skip counting by? 2. So 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, so you always, and this is how we teach it for consistency purposes, you always are skip counting by this number this many times. So you're like, okay, that sounds great. But a lot of times where people get tripped up is they'll see like 3 times 5, and then they're like, well, it's way easier to skip count by 5s. Yeah, I totally get that. I understand it. But for consistency, I don't want to, until the students are very comfortable with this concept and truly understand it, don't want to add an extra layer of confusion of like, oh, well, sometimes you can skip count by this one and sometimes you can skip count by this one. It depends on which is easier or which one you like to skip count better by. That is an added level, whereas if we are just always skip counting by this number this many times, then that is one thing that's staying consistent. So that is the way that we teach it. So skip counting by 3s 5 times. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So when you get those double touch numbers, so 6, 7, 8, and 9, when those are your second number, you're gonna still do the same thing. You're still skip counting by 5 8 times. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So that is the basics of how we teach it. Some students do benefit from a number line up top. If they don't need it, don't use it. But sometimes they do. This is a big skill that is heavily based on memorization, which is kind of difficult. It adds a level of difficulty because memorizing those skip counting, the numbers that you skip count by, can be difficult, but something that we work on. 2s and 5s are typically what we'll start with because those are easy and very relevant. I know plenty of adults that would have to stop and think about how to skip count by 8s. So it's a skill we target, a skill we work on, but it's definitely not the first number we're going to introduce skip counting by. 2s and 5s are going to be the go-to, but also introducing the other numbers as well. So so with a visual, if you were doing 8 times 6, the way that I would do this if the student needed a visual is I would add this down at the bottom. Say I have to stop and even think about this. About to skip count by 8s. 6, 24, 32, 40, 48, 50. Oh, it's been a long day. 6. Okay. So, I go past whatever the answer is because I don't want them to just think like, oh, the last number written down is the correct answer, because that's not always the case. So I'll always go past. So we're going to skip count 6 times. So I'll try to have them do both at the same time. It's kind of difficult though. So if I need to touch here while they do this, then that is fine. So we're skip counting by 8, 6 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See, that was difficult for me and I messed it up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 48. Or they can just look at the number and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's probably a lot easier than trying to do that. That's like patting your head and rubbing your stomach at the same time. It's a little difficult. So that is how you do multiplication by single digits. Right now we don't have any students that are doing multiplication including double digits, so I'm not going to cover that right now. But as students progress, I can add more videos to explain that process as well.